Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. It is Wednesday. It's November 1st. It's crazy. October flew by, and here we are in November. So, welcome to Winning Wednesday. I'm Charlotte Stallings, delighted to be here with you all tonight. And it's the podcast Win Without Perfection or Permission. I try to promote it, create my little brand here. So, we are here and we're jumping right into it. We're talking about life after divorce. And I got to tell you, I love our guest who's come on tonight. She hit me up early in the year. I think it was after a few months after we had a segment with married couples. And she said, you know what? Everybody talks about love, and that's great. How about we talk about divorce? Not to create this escape and outlet for people, or reason for people to say, I want to get divorced because things are so much better on the other side. It was more her heart to say, you know what? People experience divorce. It's not by choice. And I'm kind of adding a little bit to it. And you know what? There is life on the other side of divorce. Her comments to me also included nobody talks about divorce. It doesn't happen in churches. People just kind of move past it and encourage you to just get to the next thing or the next person. And so I said to her, yes, are you willing to talk? And she said, yeah, have a panel, talk about it. I want to talk about it. And she's bold and brave. And I'm just excited that she reached out. And I've said this over the times that we've been together. If there's a topic you want to talk about, if there's something that's on your heart, you feel like it's important for us to discuss, let me know. And let's get you on and let's talk about it on this podcast, because this is what we're doing. We're winning without perfection or permission in every single area of our lives. So whether you've got a beautiful, wonderful relationship, and that's great, or you find yourself, by choice or not, in a situation where, you know what, this relationship didn't work. We've got some hope, some inspiration, some encouragement for you tonight. And I'm delighted. Let's get to it. And I want to introduce my guest, and you all help me welcome her. Her name is Demetra Matthews Fountain. She's a mom, an amazing mom, has some amazing, beautiful, fabulous, smart, brilliant children. And she's fabulous and smart and brilliant. She's a nurse, so she's a professional woman. She's worked hard. She's very smart to be able to do this. And guess what, you all? As a single parent, she's in school, continuing her education now, works full time, holds it down, and she's a leader of a divorce care group at a church here, and we'll learn some more about that. So she just doesn't talk about it. She's really committed to the work with a full life and helping people be whole and well and understand that there truly is life after divorce. So help me welcome, I'm bringing her in right now, Demetra Matthews Fountain. Can we give it up for her? Hey, Demetra.
Hello.
It's so good to see you, and I'm loving the color.
Thank you.
Yes. It is good to see you. So we're going to jump in. I know you have some little ones at home, and my goal is to not keep you too late in tonight, but want to jump right into it. So I've shared a little bit about you. If you will tell us anything else you'd like us to know about yourself that maybe I forgot to include, please go ahead.
I think that wraps it up. I'm a nurse. I do labor and delivery, so I'm delivering babies 3 nights a week. From Ohio, from Akron, Ohio. I do not know LeBron, so don't DM me asking because I do not know him. Been in Texas for about 15 years. So, yeah.
Okay. So you said don't even come to you about LeBron. You don't know him.
I can't get you tickets. No.
I think you've been asked that a time or two then for you to just come at us that way already.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to it. So I just want to make sure there's some things that we had discussed, and I want to go through those with you. So I shared a little about you reaching out to me and saying, hey, let's talk about this. But if you'll share and elaborate for people who are on live now and who will listen later, what was your motivation for even wanting to discuss life after divorce?
Because when I went through my divorce, I realized that nobody's really there to guide you along the way. There's no group. There's no one person that says, "Hey, I've done this. I've come on the other side and I'm like healed. Let me help you." It's like we're invisible. So in the world, it's just like, oh, get a new boyfriend, get a new girlfriend, take some vacations, and you'll be fine. And then in church, it's like we're invisible. Nobody says, "Hey, I know you're having a tough time. Let's try to find a divorced person or even a divorced couple who can try to mentor you for a couple months to help you along the way." And I just feel like when you go through divorce, it feels like a very isolated type situation. And in your mind, you know, other people get divorced, you know what happens. But emotionally, it feels very alone. And I know how
Mm.
that feels. And I just felt like I wanted to help people see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Like you don't
Mm.
see it in the beginning, but somebody can help you know that you eventually will get there if you just do the work.
Mhm. So let's get into that. Do the work.
Yes.
So I'm just pivoting off of some things that you say. What is doing the work? Talk about that. What does that look like?
So I believe doing the work is, like I said before, I am going to really push divorce care because I know how beneficial it is. So you don't have to do divorce care, but even if you just get with a counselor or you get with a therapist and not say, "Oh, I'm gonna go for the month of June and I'm fine." Like, no, you need many months to be able to be healed, to be able to say, "Yeah, I'm not bitter anymore. Yeah, I don't blame him or I don't blame her anymore." And even just to be whole and heal for your children if you have kids. So my thing is that you have to really be honest with yourself. What did I do to cause this? What are my parts in this? It's never 100% him. Even with my ex, like there's things that I had to apologize for because didn't get divorced just because of him. Like that's not how it works. So my thing is definitely try to get some help. Just really be truthful with yourself. What areas do you need to work on? And not areas just because you want to get another relationship, but areas because you want to be healthy, you want to be happy, you want the bruises of your heart to be healed. And so I just say you really have to get into somewhere to where you can be guided and led and in a positive way. That's the most
Mhm. Mhm. So I hear you saying the work is looking internally.
important.
It is reaching out to ask for help, whatever that might look like. And it's not just a one and done. You
Right,
have one conversation with somebody and then you move on. It might be a journey a little bit more than that, is what I hear you saying.
right. Yeah, so I tell
Mhm.
people that to me it's almost like you take a cruise. Like you're going along, you're healing, you're doing well, and cruises take ports, they stop. So you may feel like, "Oh, I was doing great, and then I cried all day today, so I'm not doing that good anymore." But that's not true. Like the boat will take off again and you'll be fine. But just really knowing that it's gonna take work, it's gonna take time, it's gonna take um honesty with yourself. It's going to take, you may have to even apologize if you feel like you were wrong. There's going to be something you may have to really apologize for, and that's okay.
Mhm, mhm. It doesn't take away from you or minimize anything about you is something I'm hearing as a thread here to do that. That's the growth. That's working. That's doing the work is what I hear you saying, that there may be some revelation about that. I need to apologize. I need to have a conversation that's involved as well.
Yes. Yeah. And
Mhm.
the thing I think about divorce is that sometimes it can really make you look in the mirror and really see some things about yourself. And the part with doing the work is that you may have times where you have to even apologize to yourself for allowing certain things, or even apologizing to yourself because you may have done some things that you know you weren't raised to do. And that's okay. But the whole thing is just being honest. What do you need to work on? What do you need to do? And how can you go down this road of healing? So that's the main goal.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. So you've been divorced 4 years. You shared with me about 4 years. What are some things maybe what was most challenging in this process? And what have been maybe some huge learnings for you or takeaways from this?
Okay, so the most challenging for me was having to really come to terms with that the dreams and the plans I had in my head for us are not going to happen as far as me and their fathers involved. The plans of us raising our grandkids together, that's not a reality anymore. The plans of us taking our kids on trips together as a married couple, that wasn't a reality. So that was really hard for me to have to realize that things are not how I said in my head to be when we first got married. And then also I am a checklist person. I make checklists every day. And that's a control type situation. So in this, I realized that I don't have control. Like I can't make him do certain things. I can't make him say stuff. I can't make him interact. I want him to. And that was the hardest part for me, was to realize that I can't control other people. Like I can't force stuff. So just going through that and realizing that it's a thing called it's called your circle, like what you can do. And in the circle is like what I can do, what I can say, and how I react to stuff. And once I realized that, life was so much lighter. It was easier because I'm like, I don't have to stress about what other people say and do because I don't have control. I can't stress about
Mhm.
what happens because I don't have control. So once I was
Mhm.
able to really gain hold of that, then it made things easier for me.
Mhm. So can I jump in, because I think that is something that has application, whether it's divorce, and that's our topic, or any other aspect of life. I hear you saying you released control, like the thought of that I can control this or another person, and accepting that some things will be different, from the
Right.
dreams, the hopes, the aspirations, like accepting that. I so appreciate your transparency and your honesty and saying, it was hard. It wasn't easy, because we go into a marriage with the hope, we make the vows, here's what I'm going to do till death do us part, and then it shifts. So that's got to be hard. So those are some big learnings for you. Hmm.
Um, it was really hard at first. Like I said, nobody plans to get divorced when you get married. Like that's not the plan. But just knowing that those things were going to happen was really hard for me in the beginning. For a while, it was hard.
So what helped you be able to manage that? What made it less hard as time went forward? And I'm kind of doing this like there was an arc. So it sounds like clearly acceptance, coming, you said it was, I'm paraphrasing, liberating that you can't control things or people. So it lightened.
Hmm.
What had to turn or happen for you to where it wasn't as hard?
Um, One, definitely, like I said, the control circle, realizing that I'm stressing and crying about stuff that I can't control, and just being in a group of people who knew what I was going through. So I did divorce care twice, because the very first time I did it, like I wasn't divorced, I was separated. And I tell people, when you're going through separation and divorce, that it's physically, it's emotionally, it's just hard in every aspect. Like getting up is hard. Trying to focus is hard. Did I feed my kids today? Because you're just in this, it's like a fog, really. So I tell people, like, if you can take it 2, 3 times, take it, because the second time you're in a different area. Like you may be divorced now, and now you may hear some things that you missed the first time, because now you're in a different space. So just being with people who knew what I was going through, who was able to support me, who we cried together. Some people in the group said inappropriate words, and it was okay, because we're here to be honest, with what's going on. So just surrounding myself with that, and then having friends. So I'm private. I don't like to share my business a lot, but so I had two people who I would talk to about what was going on. And just knowing that they would listen, but not encourage me to down him, or not encourage me
Mm.
to go out and act crazy, or put something on Facebook, or to continue to wallow and, be in my sadness. Like they listened to me, and it was like, okay, hey, we're going to keep moving. And so
Mhm.
just having people who supported me and supported my growth when that wasn't even on my mind at the time really helped me out.
Mhm, mhm. So it sounds like people connecting, having the circle of people. The circle is the theme, the circle of control, realizing we can't control, and then the circle of people to support you. So do this. You've said divorce care a few times, and somebody might be saying, what is divorce care? So explain it, if you wouldn't mind, Demetra.
So divorce care, it is a is biblically based, but it's not over biblical. So it's a 13-week session, and what they have is that you go to a church or online, or they have it, and you watch a video. So say the first week is over anger. And they interview different people, they interview different pastors and therapists, and they just talk about the how anger can play a part in divorce. And the people are very honest about how they feel. Like one man said, his pastor asked him, like, "Oh, well, do you pray for your ex-wife?" And his response was, like, "Yeah, I pray for her. I pray for her to fall off a cliff, and I pray for her to get hit by a semi truck." And it sounds rough, but he was being honest.
Yeah.
So you go through the video, and then afterwards you talk with your leader about how you felt about the video, and do you have anything that you need to express about how you're dealing with anger. And it's just really like a support group. And then they do homework, and there's some scriptures that you go over and some things just to help you throughout the week. And then you meet the following Saturday or Sunday, whatever you choose, and then you go over it again. But they also do divorce care kids because the kids are going through transition also. Like, it's not just the parents. And people make the comment like, "Oh, kids are resilient, they'll be fine." But they also have gone through a life transition. They also don't know how to put in words what's going on. They also don't understand why we had two parents now, and now mom's gone or now dad's gone. And I feel like we do okay, they'll be okay, and we keep it moving. So they have it for little kids, they have it for middle schoolers, and they have teenagers. So they have it for everyone. Anybody who wants to try to work through divorce, they have it set up for them.
That's good. And so you said you've gone through it twice. And as a leader now, you facilitate a group, a conversation with a group of folks. And it must be something you feel strongly about, not just divorce care, the program, this idea of helping people through in this journey, and the fact that you've got a very full life and you lead a group. So that speaks volumes about your commitment and your passion to this. So really applaud you. If somebody's looking, they want to get in a group, what should they do? They just Google divorce care? What can they
Just
do?
Google divorcecare.org. It'll have you put in your zip code, and it'll show you all the locations that have it. And they show which ones do childcare, which some do childcare and some actually do divorce care kids. But it'll show you exactly where it is, what days they meet. They have a book, but all the times we've done it, we just sponsor the book. Like, if you couldn't buy the book, it wasn't a big deal. But you just go on there, and then if you say you have to work and you miss a week, or say maybe you just couldn't get out of bed that day, they have the videos online. So you can go on there and watch the videos, do your book, or even just watch the videos, because doing the book may be too hard that week. But you just go in there, you look it up, and it'll show you a group where you can go to.
That's great. Is there a fee, Demetra, for divorce care?
It's free.
Wow, it's free and sponsored by a faith-based, church-based organization. So anybody who's any place in the journey, check it out. Sounds like it's been a great resource for Demetra and maybe countless others. So tap into the resources. And that's what I wanted to ask you. You talked about your circle of friends, those close friends. Even though you're a very private person, you were able to be very transparent with some folks who didn't judge you, who supported you, who helped you along the way, along with divorce care. Other resources that you recall that have been helpful to you, because we're talking about life after divorce, what helped you get to the other side?
Other resources, I would say really just, I don't want to say a resource outside of just the friends in the group, because those were only two I went through, but just setting boundaries for myself. So I mean that I would say, hey, I'm not going to talk trash about what he did this week, or I'm going to speak positive words about him to my kids, even just out loud, or I'm not going to allow myself to be upset about stuff. So I had to set goals for myself of saying, hey, this week, Demetra, you're not going to talk trash. Hey, Demetra, this week, if you don't like how things were done, you're going to take it with a smile and keep it moving. And just really being conscious of my words that I speak. That was a really big thing for me. Like I say, oh, I had a heart bruise. Like, I don't say, well, I had heartache and he broke my heart, because I feel like when things are broken, even if you put them back together, it's never the same. Like, something's missing, something's cracked. But a bruise over time, it heals.
Wow.
So I try to be very, very intentional with my words for myself, for my kids, because that's important to me. And I feel like your words shift how you go about in your future. So just really being very conscious about what I say and how we say stuff, and just not to bash anybody, just to really keep it nice and wholesome for the most
For the most,
for the most part though.
you said for the most part.
Right.
I love Heart Brews. And I love how you put that together. You know, heartbreak, it's like even if it's back together, it's broken and there might be some areas where something could seep in.
Right.
Heart bruises do heal. And so take away from this, everybody. I hope you're grabbing nuggets. I say this every week, even if you didn't get to Bible study, we're going to get some stuff here. Our language, our words that we speak to ourselves, even when we're in a tough space. Hearing Demetra saying, choosing each day, how's she talking to herself? What is she saying? What words is she in the atmosphere? So please consider that for yourself, whatever your situation. Demetra, I want you to go back, talk about the kids, talk about what was helpful to you in helping your children through this process and getting on the other side of divorce. Maybe it's still happening for them. So what were some things that you found helpful?
The village, when people say like it takes a village, and I didn't understand that until I went through the separation divorce, and having people who love on them, who take time with them, who spend time with them, that was very big in their life, because now we've gone from living in a house with, a whole family and we're doing great, we have a dog, people are working, to now we're living in my dad and stepmom's house, and it's all three of us in one bedroom. And my daughter doesn't remember, but my son was old enough to remember a family unit and us leaving. So for about probably like a year and a half, he would tell me all the time, like, it's your fault. Like, it's your fault we're not together. It's your fault we're not here. And I would just say, okay, I know you don't really understand, but it's okay, because like we physically left. And I don't feel like it was right for me to tell him why we left. Like, he doesn't need to know that. I don't believe that I should give him memories of what happened that he's never had. Like, that's unfair for him. So our relationship was tough for a while, because he felt hurt that in his eyes, I broke up the family. And so just having patience and just knowing that the words that he shared weren't meant to hurt me, but they were just how he felt. And it was okay. And now, like, that is my buddy. I love him. I mean, we're not best friends because he's my kid, but like, that is my buddy. And we have really good communication with each other. But just knowing that there were times that he was hurt, he would say stuff, he would feel a certain way, and I just had to go with it, because his feelings and emotions are just as important as mine, and not to downsize him because he's a kid. Like, that's unfair.
Yeah. So you let your children speak and share, and you didn't try to shut it down and you're wrong or chastise or something like that. And that had to be hard. My heart here and my eyes are getting kind of misty to think about that. Like it had to be hard for you.
Yeah, it was really heartbreaking. Because he would just say, I mean, and not that he was intentionally trying to be hurtful, but it hurt him. And then when he went to school, everybody had a mom and a dad. And then I was like, well, now we don't have that. Now we're stuck in this one bedroom. And so, but just patience for him. And I remember praying to God, like, God, I need some peace because I'm over here struggling, and my kids need peace. Definitely Dallas. But, and it was almost like instant, like literally after that, he was okay. He would still talk about stuff and share, but it wasn't the anger behind it. It wasn't you did this and now life is ruined. It was, I can talk to you about how I feel and it's okay. And so definitely just that prayer for peace really changed the whole atmosphere for us.
Mm-hmm. That's so good. So everybody, again, what are the nuggets? Praying, prayer works. God hears us. He knows where we are. Praying for our children. I love how you prayed, peace. You need peace. You desire peace, and that for your children as well. And so I'm delighted to hear, it's exciting. He's your best buddy, your mom, but he's like able to talk and know that he can. That's so good. So I am really wanting to be conscious of your time, and it's night. You've been delivering babies today, so we need you to get with your babies and get your rest. But I want to ask you just a few other things. If you were to say the most important things that you've learned to help you get to the other side, to help you see that there is life after divorce, if there were one or two things, what would you say those biggest learnings have been?
Every day is a win. If you can get up out the bed, you won today. If you can do one thing you couldn't do yesterday, you won. If you went, sorry about that.
That's
if
okay.
if you went 3 hours and you didn't cry, you're winning, and it's okay. And I want people to set real goals for themselves, and just know that it can take time, and that's okay. And so definitely take your time and just speak the things that you want. Like, my babies are okay, they're healed. I'm okay, I'm healed. We're going to be great. We're going to have new adventures, and just really speak it and believe it.
Speak it. I love that. Speak it and believe it. Even though it might not be happening right now, speaking it and believing it. And this idea of life after divorce. And would you say that life can be good? The one can be well, one can be whole
I
after
believe
divorce?
it can. Yes, I feel like I have more goals now than I did during marriage. And it wasn't because of him. It's nothing on him. But because I was forced to have to really get myself together ASAP, I feel like now I have all these goals, and we do stuff and we go places, and we're just really happy. We're generally happy. And divorce didn't stop us. It didn't slow us down. It didn't make our life to where now we're all sad and down and out. Did we have some challenges? 100%. Did we have to work through some things? Yes. Are we still working through some things? And we are. But just knowing that wasn't a death for us. Like, that wasn't, we're not divorced and damaged. Like, we're divorced, and we're still moving along greatly.
Oh my God. Did you hear that? We're not divorced and damaged. Now that's a tweetable. That's a postable. That's a t-shirtable. I'm not divorced and damaged. Divorced and well. And so life after divorce can be whole, can be well. And things Demetra shared with us tonight, praying and being patient with our children, choosing the words that we're sharing, having that circle. And I think even when you talk about divorce care, I imagine there were people there you didn't know. And so being vulnerable,
Mhm.
sharing, listening, just putting yourself in the space and saying, I want to be there so that I can get insight and information. So you've given us some good things. I just want to ask you this notion of winning without perfection or permission. What does that mean to you relative to, after divorce, to say I am winning without perfection or permission after divorce? Any thoughts on that?
Um, I just feel like if you're doing your best, you're winning. There's no one way to win. There's no definition of how you can be winning on this side. If you are doing your best and you are really out here striving and you're being great, and some days you may not be that great, but the next day be better, you got this. Yeah, I think you're doing great.
Yeah. So winning each day that we're up and we're at it. I just want to close by asking, is there any final thing, anything that comes to mind that you would share, a tip, anything to encourage somebody who, wherever they might be, as it relates to this journey and this aspect of life, or maybe it's not them, but they know somebody who is going down this path. Anything that you might offer to us?
If you're going through the situation, I say be patient, be very intentional about your words, um, show love to yourself and to your kids, be very honest, but not to the point to where you're sharing things that the kids shouldn't know about. If you are a friend or family member, just say, hey, I'm coming to pick you up this morning, be dressed. Or if they have kids, hey, get your kids ready, get their overnight bag ready, I'm taking them for the weekend, because it's, like I said, it's a very lonely type situation. And sometimes we don't like to ask for help, or they don't know how to ask for help. But just giving a divorced parent just that time, if they need to cry all day, allow them to cry without having to get up and make dinner for their kids. But just really be there and just be supportive.
Mhm. Supportive, and I imagine that's without judgment.
Mhm.
That's without womp womp womp. I got something to say. Let me add my 2 cents. It's supporting the person who's going through the journey. So very good. Listen, you have blessed us and helped us, and I again applaud you for just reaching out to me. And it was months ago, and you just said this love stuff. That's fine. We don't talk about this part, and that you want to talk about it. You know what? I think you've given a lot of space and liberty to a lot of folks to be able to talk and to find spaces and places where they can get support. So churches, ministries and churches, friends, lean in, be supportive, and encouragement. And here's what I'd love you all to do. You're listening live now or you're checking out the replay. Please put some comments in the chat so Demetra knows that this time that she spent was not in vain. Let her know that we appreciate her. So show her some love in there so when she goes back and looks, you'll be able to see that she was an encouragement to you all, okay? Demetra, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. You're doing great. I'm proud of you. And you keep going forward. I'm going to hit you up so you can talk about the nursing field or something like that. Or, you know, working and momming and going to school at the same time. I think you can share some things with us, okay? So thank you for being here tonight. I'm going to let you go. I'll be in touch, okay?
Thank you.
Let's give it up for Demetra. Good night. Hey, thank you all for being here and joining us for Winning Wednesday, where it's the podcast, Winning Without Perfection or Permission. Thank you all for your support. You know what you can always do is share. So our goal is every 2 weeks. We popped this one in right after last week because it was when Demetra was available. That in 2 weeks, we'll be back. It's November 15th. And guess what? We're talking to the millennials. Leslie Boyd is coming on, and my daughter Milana. We may have a young man as well, a millennial young man who will be coming on to talk with us about adulting. You know, we say it, we kind of joke about it, but adulting is a whole real thing. And so things that they've learned, and moreover, things that they can share with either younger adults and their parents like me to say, here are the things that help us to be able to adult in an effective way. So 2 weeks from tonight, November 15th, we'll be back with a couple of millennials to help us chop it up. And then we've got some good stuff. We're going to talk to parents. Specifically, I have some psychologists, some therapists who are going to be on and helping us parents help our kids to move into those adulting stages and to help them stay there so we don't have to be the helicopter parents. We got other good stuff lined up. And thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting. The goal every single time we come together is to help us win in every aspect of our lives. Win without perfection or permission. So thank you for being here again. Good night. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Rest well. Thank you. Bye-bye.